Day 9 of this Nagoya Basho. Unfortunately, due to scheduling difficulties, mainly because of the Olympics, we've had to skip day 8. But by day 9, this man's in the lead. Akibono's got 8 straight wins. Main news from day 8 was that Takanohana dropped out. He tore something in his elbow, torn bicep, it's believes, and it's an injury that dated from his match with Tosanumi earlier on. So Takanohana's out. Akibono's in the lead with 8 straight wins. Chio Tenzan 1 step behind with 7 wins and 1 loss. And then Chio Taikai, Kaio, Dejima, Kyoku Tenho and Takami Sakari all with 6 wins and 2 losses. So let's go into the first of our bouts. On day 9, it's Chio Tenzan and Ami Nishiki. Wrestler, a very lightweight wrestler. He's the youngest and the lightest. He's only 117 kilos, which is about the same size that Terao is or was. That was 2 bodies falling down there together. Looks like... so what happened there is that one of the judges objected to the referee's verdict, but the judges as a group upheld it. It was Gumbo Idori, so Aminishiki keeps that verdict there, that's decision. Let's watch this in slow motion. So there's the younger, he's only 21 years old, lighter wrestler, fighting Chio Tenzan. So quite a rough start there. And there's the overarm throw, nice view of that. And yes, you can see it was Chio Tenzan whose arms touched down first outside. It was very difficult to see this. The referee is immediately in charge of the bout, but dotted around the ring are 5 umpires, Shimpang. And also they've got a video link, and they can replay it very quickly and check out who did what. So now Otsukasa against Takatori. Otsukasa with 3 losses. Unless he gets Kachikoshi this Basho, he'll be back down to the Juryo division again. So another loss for him. That's his 4th loss. And that was 5th win for Takatori. He disposed of that less experienced wrestler very quickly with Oshidashi, push out. Hamanoshima fights Kotoryu. These two are always very good at their tachi-ai. Almost never get corrected by the referee. If these two can do it, no doubt the others can. Although I must say Hamanoshima did that very quick popping down action with one of his hands rather than leaving it down there momentarily. Nevertheless, that gave him a fast start and his 4th win. So Hamanoshima winning that one with kuridashi. Our Mongolian Kyoku Tenho, to Mongolia after this Basho. Briefly, not permanently. And here fighting Higonumi. They've had 5 head-to-heads before. Kyoku Tenho has won 3 of them. And there's the 4th one. Higonumi had a good Basho last time, had 9 wins against 6 losses. Previous to that, he sat it out due to an injury, but doing so this time. 4 wins so far and 5 losses for Higonumi, and that was Kyoku Tenho's 7th win. So getting very close to his Kachikoshi early on in this Basho. Hayateyumi, it means windy sea. That's Kotonowaka, which means young Japanese harp. Could obscure some of these names, although the Koto in his name comes from the name of the stable, which is, no it doesn't, it's from Sado Gotake's stable, but they tend to use that word Koto. So there was a nice open bout there. Kotonowaka eventually winning with straight push out Oshidashi to give him his 5th win. Now Kaiho, he was named after his father's fishing boat, comes from a fishing family. And here fighting Wakanoyama. These two have fought 3 times before. Wakanoyama's won 2 of them. See if Kaiho can open that up. Tries to get round behind, grabs the leg, fronts up, keeps him on the run, and dumps the much heavier man. Some 40 kilos difference between the 2 of them. Speedy Kaiho, he's got some nice techniques. He's only 124 kilos, which is, what, 19 stone? Big man nevertheless, but small by sumo standards. But he kept Wakanoyama on the run there, didn't give him a chance to settle down, and got him with Yorikiri. Now, Asanowaka, not only is he a local lad, which of course gets him lots of applause, but he's got his little special salt chucking in ritual. She was forced to change recently. The sumo bosses objected to it, so he changed it, and now he gets just as many laughs and as much applause as he did before. Well, that was typical Asanowaka. Came out from the tachiai, then sidestepped and tried to slap Minato Fuji down, but too many of these wrestlers know what Asanowaka's going to do, so Minato Fuji read that one neatly and slapped him down with Hatteki Komi. But that was the 8th loss for Asanowaka and Makikoshi. But he's at Maigashira 3, so he'll drop down the rankings a bit, whatever happens, but he'll still be in this top division. Kyokushuzan is going right back from the line now. Change of tactic. The wrestlers are allowed to do that. They can't go between the lines with their hands, but they can certainly go right the way back and go right the way back to the edge if they want. Well, that little unorthodox start there from Kyokushuzan seemed to have done him some good. That's given him his 3rd victory. 6 losses so far. His last 2 tournaments, he only scored 5 wins each time. Doesn't seem to have any injuries. It may be more of a temperamental thing that he's not doing too well recently. Only change in his life is that he's got married. Now, Toki fights Tosonoumi. Has to have fought twice before, each has won once. Toki trying his usual rough stuff, but Tosonoumi is about the same size, and he comes out hard and fast, so it's pretty evenly matched on the styles there, and Tosonoumi gets it with Oshidashi. And that gives him his 3rd win. Toki notching up his 6th loss. Now Akinoshima. There's one person he hates fighting, and that's Kotonishiki, who's now down in the Juryo division, but he lost almost every time to Kotonishiki over their long career. He once said that if it wasn't for Kotonishiki, he might well have won a tournament or 2. Well, interesting little sidelight there on Akinoshima. You can hear the crack there as those 2 wrestlers whacked into each other from the tachiai. Tochiazuma, only 23 years old. He seems to have been around a long time. He's 10 years younger than Akinoshima. Tochiazuma's just steadily gaining in power and authority in this sacred circle. And there he is, starting to push Akinoshima back. He had him, you can see that push, he had the front of the belt and he was driving him up at an angle, floating Akinoshima's weight up. And that gave Tochiazuma his 7th win, putting him firmly in the race for the Emperor's Cup. I had to work for that one a bit. Now on to the next bout. Oginishiki against Takanonami. These 2 have met previously 15 times. Takanonami's won 10 of them. But Takanonami's on a slide now. Last 2 Bashos he only scored, he got Makikoshi each time. Oginishiki had 1 Kachikoshi, 1 Makikoshi, not much to choose between them. Sat out a couple of Basho, or rather he dropped down to the Juryo division about 3 Bashos ago. Now look at that lock there by Takanonami. So he wrapped those long arms round that kime, that double arm breaking hold. Then he followed that up with a leg hook as well. Double combination of his favourite techniques. But Oginishiki just about plucked victory from defeat there at the edge of the ring and spun him over with the underarm throw. Well, that looked close for Oginishiki. That's his 5th win. There's Kaio coming down the Hanamichi, the flower path towards the ring. That's Chio Taikai. Also getting ready for the bout against Kaio. Now the next bout, Musoyama and Tochinohana. suffer a lot of injuries, these guys. It was Musoyama who, early last year, dislocated his shoulder very badly. Well, he came back from that. It took him a while, though. These two have never fought before. Tochinohana's the new boy on the block. And there, whoops. Well, Musoyama played that one badly. It looked like he thought he'd got Tochinohana on the brink. Slackened off at that final moment, and that was enough for Tochinohana to swivel round, and just enough for Musoyama to go sailing past. So fourth win there for this Tochinohana. This new one in his second Makauchi Basho. And sixth loss for Musoyama. Well, two more losses. And that's Makikoshi, and that's him down from Ozeki. Now, Takanowaka in his fifth Makauchi tournament against Miyabiyama in his 10th Makauchi. Basho, look at that. Well, that's Sumo to order that, which is not to say that it was fixed, but Takanowaka knew that Miyabiyama was going to come charging out, and like a matador, he just turned sideways and let Miyabiyama bull past him and nosedive into the ground. So very neatly done there by Takanowaka. Fifth loss for Miyabiyama. He's suffering. Is this new Ozeki? A few of the old elders, the sumo elders, nodding their heads as if to say, we told you so, because there was some opposition to his promotion. Now, Chio Taikai fights Kaio. These two have fought 13 times before. Chio Taikai has won 7 of them, although Kaio has won the last 2. Kaio with 2 losses so far. That was the penultimate crouch down. The Shikiri, now it's coming up for the final one. Various signs. The referee will announce Jikan desu, time's up. He'll turn his fan to the front. The Yobidashi in the corners will stand up when the wrestlers go back from the penultimate one. Look at that. Well, that was an action repeat of the previous bout. Chio Taikai obviously did watch that last one and thought, I'll try it on Kaiho. Almost exactly the same there. Now, Chio Taikai normally, well, doesn't do these side steps. He normally just goes straight forward. In fact, his master, Chono Fuji, tells him to. They don't like these side-stepping movements, the sumo bosses, but he did it and he won. Let's watch this one again. See him watching very carefully there, and then he comes out at an angle sideways, and Kaio just goes sailing past. Let's watch Kaio there. Loses it entirely. Didn't even have his hands up. Maybe he was looking for the belt instead of leading with his hands. So disappointment on Kaio there. You can see it in his body language. But nevertheless, 3 losses, still a chance for him to get promoted up. Now, Akibono against Dejima. Well, this is interesting because it was in this venue last year that Dejima won the Basho, and he won it in a playoff against Akibono. So this is almost like history repeating itself, but we're only just past halfway through this Basho. So Akibono's firmly in the lead. He's got 8 wins, no losses. Dejima's got 2 losses. These two have fought 9 times previously. Dejima's won 5 of them. So Dejima bounces off the massive body of Akibono, now starts to drive him back. Akibono recovers, pins him on the edge, and then just squashes him down and falls on him for good luck. So Dejima not looking too happy about that one. Over 500 pounds falling on you is not a lot of fun, I guess. Dejima said not so long ago in an interview that he found sumo unpleasant quite often. So Akibono, that's a close match there. Looked as though he'd almost lost it at one point. Dejima almost drove him back and out, but he recovered well from it and squashed Dejima down. 9 straight wins for Akibono, still in the lead. Let's watch this one again. So Dejima starts to move backward from the thrusts, starts trying to push Akibono's arms up, then he locks in, then he starts driving the Yokozuna back, and at this stage it looks as though Akibono might not make it, and then he digs in on the edge. You can see his right foot just stopping, blocking his progress back. And then he starts moving forward, and this is where he starts to lean over and down. Look at that, right on top of Dejima. Squashes him to the floor, just on that curving edge. See the delight of the crowds there. That's a bonus for them, having a wrestler fall on top of them. Occasionally they get injured. I don't think the insurance is a problem there. It's one of the risks of watching sumo. Now Masashi Maru fights Tama Kasuga. These two have fought 13 times. Masashi Maru's won 11 of them. Tama Kasuga's already got Makikoshi that will drop him down into the Maigasho ranks. So Masashi Maru taking his time here. Doesn't want to go too fast because he'll get sidestepped, but there it is. He pushes him out with Oshidashi. And that's 6 wins for Masashi Maru. Still a chance for him to win this tournament, but Akebono's firmly in the lead. And that was the 9th loss for Tama Kasuga. So at the end of day 9, we have the leader Akebono with 9 straight wins. Chio Taikai, Tochiazuma, Kyokuten Ho, Chio Tenzan, Takami Sakari, Ami Nishiki, all with 7 wins and 2 losses. And then behind them, Masashi Maru, Dejima, Kaio with 6 wins and 3 losses. Namaste and welcome to days 10, 11 and 12 of the 15-day Natsu Basho, the Grand Sumo Tournament from Nagoya, Japan. My name is Sumo. Winning in sumo is fairly straightforward. You have to make the other ricochet touchdown outside the ring with any part of the body, or inside the ring with any part of the body except for the soles of the feet. The slightest touch with the fingers or toes or even the hair will lose the fight. Ricochet can lose also by infringing the rules, such as punching with a fist, grabbing the hair intentionally, jabbing the eyes or other nerve spots, slapping both ears at the same time, grabbing the front vertical part of the belt, squeezing the throat, kicking the chest or stomach, bending back the fingers. And also losses can be gained by having the belt fall off, refusing to start at the tachiai, or disregarding the referee's instructions. So many ways of winning and losing, and in sumo there's only one interest, and that's the winner. No silver medals or bronze medals. So at the start of day 10, you can see the ranks there. Akebono in the lead with 9 straight wins and a clutch of wrestlers behind. Still in the race for the medals, but Akebono looking strong. So into our first bout of day 10, which is between Takami Sakari, newcomer, and Kotonowaka. This is Takami Sakari's first Makuuchi Basho, and locks in tight there, goes for the front grip on the belt, and then Morozashi, that's 2 hands inside. Takami Sakari, ex-amateur champion, and Kotonowaka there trying for the neck hold but loses it, and Takami Sakari locks him behind and shoves him out with Okuridashi. So that's the 8th win for Takami Sakari, which gives him his Kachikoshi. That's more wins and losses. So very good start for this new wrestler into the Makuuchi division. And 5th loss there for Kotonowaka. So let's watch that one again. Takami Sakari at 137 kilos, well outweighed by Kotonowaka. Locks in on the front of the belt, both wrestlers there holding on the front of the belt. And then eventually switches his grip, goes on the inside. There you can see that Morozashi hold, that's the 2 hands on the inside, underneath. And then Kotonowaka starts to turn, his hand comes over for the head. Sign of desperation, tries a twist and another twist the other way. And eventually Takami Sakari gets behind him and pushes him out with Okuridashi. Not much the wrestler can do there when the other opponent is right behind him. Kotonowaka with a bad knee, well taped up, as you can see. So Takami Sakari from the Nichirai stable. Now on to another newcomer. Kyokuten Ho here, not so new, but fighting newcomer Ami Nishiki. He's the youngest and the lightest wrestler. He's got 7 wins so far. If he wins this one, that will give him his Kachikoshi, and there it is. A nice win there with Shitate Nagi, the underarm throw. And that's 8 wins. And the 3rd loss for Kyokuten Ho. You can See the mark on his forehead. Aminishiki scraped it badly there yesterday. Hit the deck, and it's a very abrasive surface, and that took the skin off. Next fight between Kinkayama, the Dewanumi stable, and Kaiho of Nichidai. There are something like 6 ex-Nichidai wrestlers in this top division. That's in the Makuuchi division, and there's 6 also in the Juryo division. It's the largest group of wrestlers from the same stable. The Nichidai stable, of course, is the amateur stable. And the wrestlers are scattered throughout the stable. Some say maybe they should all fight in the same stable, since they've got some sort of affinity there. But from the Nichidai point of view, they manage to get location fees, finder's fees or whatever as they move their wrestlers around. So it's the Nichidai boss, Tanaka, who likes to put his wrestlers in different stables. So Kaiho winning there, that's his 5th win, and Kinkayama losing for his 5th time. Now, interesting bout now, Koto Ryu, who's got a very bad knee, injured it on day 1 fighting Sento Ryu. That's otherwise known as Henry Armstrong Miller, the only wrestler, or the first wrestler from mainland America. Son of a Japanese and African American. Spent his first 6 years in Japan and speaks fluent Japanese. Well, that was interesting there, a couple of full starts. And then Koto Ryu came out too fast and then got slapped down. Had Takikomi win there by Sento Ryu to give him his 6th win and 5th loss for Koto Ryu. Koto Ryu struggling a bit. His knee is swelling up badly, has to keep it under control, taking painkillers for it. Now, Hikonoumi of the Mihogaseki stable fights Tokitsumi. These two have fought 6 times previously. Hikonomi's won 4 of them. So Hikonoumi coming out faster, gets the inside grip with his left arm, the sashi hold. It's the underarm hold at Tokitsumi coming over the top, and there pushes Hikonoumi out with Yorikiri. So that's 6 wins for Tokitsumi and 6 losses for Hikonoumi. Still a chance for these wrestlers to get their kachikoshi. It's the majority of wins. But the wrestlers fret a bit until they get to that stage. A certain amount of tension. After that, they can ease off slightly. Here, Wakanoyama fights Chio Tenzan. They've only fought once before. Very low tachi-ai start there by both wrestlers. Wakanoyama driven backwards, skids on the surface there and gets shoved out by Chio Tenzan. That's 8 wins for Chio Tenzan and kachikoshi. And the 5th loss for Wakanoyama from the Musashigawa stable. There's 5 of them, or 4 of them rather, in this top division and 1 in the Juryo division. So well behind Nichidai as far as numbers go in the top 2 divisions. Sashigawa stable not doing quite so well recently. All their wrestlers suffering a little bit. Well, there's Asanowaka and fighting Kyokushuzan. These two have had 11 head-to-heads before. Kyokushuzan's won 7 of them. And Asanowaka there, coming out straight. Kyokushuzan jumps to the side. No immediate advantage. Locking in tight there, briefly, under Asanowaka's both arms. The Kimedashi hold, but to lose it there, tries to pull down on the back of Asanowaka's head. And a win there for Kyokushuzan, his 4th win so far, with Hataki Komi. So much needed win there for the Mongolian. Hasn't been doing at all well in recent Bashos. He'll be slowly and surely sliding down the ranks if he's not careful. Needs to buck his ideas up a bit. Now, Takanowaka fights Tochino Nada. Tochino Nada considered himself the big rival of Dejima when they both came into sumo, though Dejima's moved ahead a bit of him. These two have fought twice before, each has won once. Takanowaka in his 5th Basho, newcomer, but there, Tochino Nada got that one. Takanowaka pushed and slid down, and Tochino Nada remained in the ring, and that's his 2nd win. 8th loss, Makikoshi already for Tochino Nada. Now Tochi Azuma, who's doing well so far. He's got 7 wins so far. A win here will give him his Kachikoshi. Takanonami with 5 losses. Now if he loses this one, that will mean there's no chance of him regaining his old rank as Ozeki. Not that he's showing much evidence of having the ability to do that right now. Tochiazuma chasing him hard round the ring, not giving him a chance to rest there. Good fast-paced bout this one. And there, locks him behind, and nice little ballet turn there by Takanonami on the edge, but not much good. Tochiazuma wins his 8th bout, 6th loss for Takanonami. And Kachikoshi for Tochiazuma. Has 8 wins so far. His previous Basho, he had 9 wins. The 2 Basho before that, he had 8 wins, sorry, 8 wins each time. So he's maintaining his numbers, and hopefully will do even better this Basho. Toshino Hana, otherwise known as Yachi, in the sumo world, fighting Kaio. Now Kaio needs 11 wins to go up to Ozeki. He's had 22 wins in his 2 previous Basho, needs 33 wins. So here he's got 5 wins so far. There's a loss, he doesn't need that one, but he can still stay in the promotion chances for Ozeki. He's got a few more bouts yet. As I say, he needs a result this tournament of 11 wins, 4 losses minimum. So Toshino Hana there, newcomer in his 2nd Basho, notching up his 5th win with Oshidashi. So let's watch that one again. Kaio coming out, sidesteps, recovers a little bit, and a lot of arm movements there. Each wrestler trying to move the other wrestler's arms out the way, but Toshino Hana drives in with his head and his hands into Kaio's chest and shoves him out with Oshidashi. So 5th win there for Yachi. 2 veterans here. Shio Taikai from the Kokonoe stable, fighting here. Akinoshima from the Futogoyama stable. These 2 have fought 8 times. Shio Taikai's won 5 of them. Shio Taikai with 7 wins so far, not doing too well, 2 losses. And there was a speedy start from Akinoshima there. Gives you an idea of the speed that these guys come out. It's one of the reasons they pick up so many injuries. They crack into each other. Have to come out fast. You can't start slow in sumo. So Shio Taikai there, coming out faster. And Akinoshima shoved out with Oshidashi. So that's 8 wins for Shio Taikai. And the 5th loss for Akinoshima. Only 5 wins so far for Aki. And 2 losses for Shio Taikai. Shio Taikai in the 2nd position behind Akibono in the race for the Emperor's Cup. It's about Musoyama, who's had 5 losses so far. His back's giving him trouble. Fighting Tamakasuga, these 2 have fought 14 times. Musoyama's won 9 of them. Measured start there by both wrestlers. Musoyama being turned a bit. And there's the overarm grip from Tamakasuga. Gives him a chance for the Owate Dashinagi throw. Musoyama tries the spin turn, but doesn't recover from it, and Tamakasuga drives him out. So Musoyama with 7 losses now on day 10. He needs at least 8 wins to stay at Ozeki, so he's got problems. Let's watch that one again. So, not quite the normal power from Musoyama on the tachiai. Tamakasuga, also noted for his head charge, comes out much the same speed. Turning Musoyama around in a circle. Musoyama recovers from that one a bit. Brief juggling for positions there. Tries a spin turn off one arm, but then Tamakasuga locks in head, forehead to Musoyama's chest and drives him out. The Yorikiri. Climbing up the ranks now, Ozeki ranked Dejima. Fights Tosanumi. These 2 have fought 13 times. Dejima's won 7 of them. Both almost exactly the same weight. Dejima 26 years old, Tosanumi 28. Both university ex-amateur sumo champions. Well, Dejima gets that one. Tosanumi skids down just on the edge. So that's 7 losses for Tosanumi. And the 7th win for Dejima. Dejima, previous Basho, had 8 wins and 7 losses, so should do better this time than last time. Had pretty uneven results as an Ozeki. Now another Nichidai wrestler coming on, Hayate Yumi, and he's fighting another ex-student champion, Miyabiyama. Well, Miyabiyama, you can see his shoulder well taped up there. He hurt it on day 1. And he's Hayate Yumi from Nichidai. That's the big amateur sumo stable. And Miyabiyama from Chuo University. Sorry, Meiji University. So another loss there. That's 6 losses for Miyabiyama, not doing at all well. Well, maybe it's his shoulder, who can say. But on his debut as an Ozeki, he is not doing at all well. And there are certain of the elders in sumo are nodding as if to say, well, I told you so. There were a certain number of votes against him being promoted to Ozeki. And 6th win there for Hayate Yumi. So Hayate Yumi gets the inside grip there. Sashi, there's a change of grip, a Maki Kai, but on the change, which is always a dangerous moment, Miyabiyama loses it there, and Hayate Yumi follows that up and shoves him out. So always a dangerous moment, that when one wrestler gets the inside grip and the other wrestler tries to change that position to get his own inside grip. That's when the other wrestler can tie his arm up, trap it off and shove him out. Now up to the Ozeki. Masashi Maru, 230 kilos, 6 wins so far, 3 losses, fighting Oginishiki. Masashi Maru says he needs to get his weight down to about 210 kilos. His extra weight has given him trouble on the knees. But a win there for the Yokozuna. That's 7 wins and 3 losses so far. And Oginishiki gaining or notching up his 5th loss. These two had fought previously, but it was overwhelmingly number of victories for Masashi Maru. Now here's Akibono. Last of the Yokozuna. Takahana's dropped out, of course, fighting Toki. These two have fought only twice before. Akibono's won twice. Akibono's got something like 40% body fat, but he certainly seems to have strengthened up. A few bashos ago, he was looking very wobbly with all that weight sitting on his legs. So there's the classic Akibono style, 2 arms out, and then a determined push with both hands. And there's another win. Akibono now clearly in the lead with 10 straight wins, 7 losses for Toki, and looking very comfortable. So at the end of day 10, we have Akibono in the lead with 10 straight wins. Chio Taikai in 2nd place with 8 wins and 2 losses. And then the remaining Ozeki, Miyabiyama with 4 wins, Dejima with 7 wins, Musoyama with 3 wins. And a clutch of wrestlers at 8-2. Takumi Misari, Ami Nishiki. Stay with us, we'll be back after the break with more sumo. To day 11 of the Nagoya Basho. Akibono's in the lead, 10 straight wins. We've got a clutch of wrestlers in 2nd position with 8 wins. That's Takumi Sakari, Ami Nishiki, Chio Tenzan, Tochi Azuma and Chio Taikai. Well, there's President Chirac of France, a great sumo fan. He, when the Sumo Association came over to Paris about 7 years ago, was it? 6 years ago. He attended every day of the tournament here, and he's presenting a cup to the winners of each basho from now, and he says he'll present that cup for as long as he's French president. So let's go into our first bout. It's between Kyokushuzan and Hamanoshima. These two have fought 8 times. Hamanoshima's won 6 of them. Hamanoshima on the right there. Slightly uneven start there. Kyokushuzan not doing at all well, although normally in Nagoya he does well. He usually gets Kachikoshi. That was his 7th loss. He's getting very close. Only 1 away from Makikoshi, and that was the 5th win for Hamanoshima. Both these wrestlers got married a couple of months ago. Sometimes works wonders with the guys. They have to concentrate on winning and earning to support their families. Now, next bout, Kyokutenho, Mongolian wrestler against Tokitsumi. Tokitsumi likes his secret of his training, he says, is vegetable juice, drinks lots of it every morning. Quite light wrestler. Tokitsumi, a mere 130 kilos. which is about just over 20 stone. Kyokuten Ho at 140, some 10 kilos heavier. So they're locking in tight there. Head down, both hands on the front of the belt, head against the chest. There's a determined push from Tokitsuumi from that position of power. Two hands and a head onto the opponent's body, and that drove Kyokuten Ho over the side with Yorikiri. Next bout, Kotonowaka, big, tall wrestler, well experienced. Fights Ame Nishiki. They never fought before. Ame Nishiki in his first Basho. Big graze on his forehead there. Very light, only 117 kilos, and well, brief but game fight by the newcomer. He's already got 8 wins and Kachikoshi, so he's slightly relaxed, and that was Kotonowaka's 6th win. Now, Chio Tenzan against Kotoryu. These two have fought twice before. Chio Tenzan's won both times. Chio Tenzan's already got 8 wins, so that's his Kachikoshi. And there's a win for Kotoryu despite his injured knee. Does a nice Hikiotoshi pull drop throw there against Chio Tenzan. So 6th win for Kotoryu, not doing too badly. His previous Basho he had 7 wins, so he's got a chance to level up or exceed his previous results. Now Kaiho against Takatoriki. Kaiho from his stable boss is Hokuto Umi, a real tough ex-Yokozuna. Takatoriki, Mr. Mean, got a good line in slaps. Well, there's one that missed. Some slaps from Kaiho there. Well, Kaiho drove in hard but skidded at the edge. So that was a game fight between the two of them. Lots of slaps and pushes. Takatoriki takes that one. That's 7 wins for Takatoriki. Let's watch this one again. Takatoriki, not too many slaps at the start there. Midway through this bout, starts to open up with the slaps. There's one to the side of the face. Another mix there. There's one that misses completely. Kaiho coming in with his own slaps on Takatoriki's shoulder, then dives in, but his head's controlled by Takatoriki, and that drops him down to the mat. So Kaiho with only 5 wins so far, 6 losses now. Chirac there, flanked by the head of the Sumo Association, Tokutsukaze. Thoroughly enjoys his sumo. Now Asanowaka fights Daizen, the oldest Rikishi in the Makuuchi division, 35 years old. Fighting Asanowaka. They've fought 6 times before. Asanowaka's won 5 of them. Asanowaka not winning on the tachi-ai there, just winning with straightforward oshidashi. Good push from Asanowaka. It's the man who had 2 previous sumo names. Chi chains. Quite often they change them when they've got not doing too well. Change them as hopefully looking for better luck. So 2nd win for Asanowaka, not doing at all well this term. Now Toki, Mr. Sideburns, Mr. Momiyage. Big wrestler, 177 kilos. That's about 27 stone. And Tochi no Nada, a mere 165, just about 26 stone. So slightly slow start there by Toki. Tochi no Nada closing the gap more quickly. The usual rough style from Toki, but Tochi no Nada touches round his middle and leans on him and forces him out with a Yorikiri win. Tochi no Nada's 3rd win, 8 losses, Makikoshi already. Previous Basho he only had 5 wins, so not doing too well in this or the previous Basho. Now Akinoshima, very strong when he latches onto the belt. He's fighting Takanowaka. They've only fought twice before. Takanowaka in his 5th Basho. Akinoshima in his 76th Basho. So it's a lot of time in the ring for the veteran on the left. He's 33 years old. He's got the belt, which is a strong position for him, but Takanowaka pushing in hard with his stomach. Kaburi thrusts there, and there's from thrust to pull down, overarm throw there. So he had the overarm, drove in hard with his stomach, and then switched direction and pressured down on Akinoshima's arm. and drove him down into the sand and the dust of the dojo. Fourth win there for Takanowaka. A loss there would have given him 8 losses for Makikoshi, so still hanging on in there. Tamakasuga against Takanonami. These two have fought 22 times. Takanonami's won 15 of them, but Takanonami's on the Kudari Michi, the downward slope. He's lost his chance for going up to Ozeki now. What he now has to look forward to is not being demoted down from Sekiwaki, but that was his 7th loss. So he's showing all the signs of sliding down the ranks, probably Komusubi next time. And a win there, much needed win for Tamakasuga. Tamakasuga with only 2 wins so far. Previous Basho he had 9 wins and 6 losses. One before that, 5 wins and 10. So bit of an up and down series of results there for Tamakasuga. Now Kaio, who needs 11 wins this tournament. He's got 6 wins so far, fighting Tochiazuma. Tochiazuma's a strong competitor. They fought each other 14 times. Each has won 7 times. Kaio with 6 wins. Measured start there. Certainly didn't put both hands down before he started, but the Joji, the referee, didn't pick that up. So Kaio looking strong and confident. Had 4 losses so far this tournament. Can't afford many more, that's for sure. But he's tying the arm down there. That's that high underarm grip from Tochiazuma. Makes it difficult for Kaio to get a grip. But on the change of grips there, Kaio pushes him out. So that's 7th win for Kaio. Getting closer and closer to that Ozeki promotion, following his tournament win last time. Needs 33 wins over 3 tournaments. So 11 wins this tournament will give him that number. So slow start there. Well, not really so slow. He drops his head to the side, doesn't go head-to-head on this one. In sumo, it often is literally head-to-head, heads cracking their heads. Chiotaikai, we've seen, complains of dizziness. He's banged heads so many times with other wrestlers. It's Kaio there, going to one side. You can see him trying to get the belt there, but it's being denied to him, or it was. But then as Tochiazuma pulls his arm out from the grip, Kaio powers forward and drives him out with Yorikiri. Now, up the scales now, up the ranks rather. Miyabiyama, Ozeki fighting next against Higonoumi here. These two have fought 4 times. Miyabiyama's won all 4 of them. But Miyabiyama suffering a bit, 6 losses so far. There's a head-to-head. 2 heads crack in there. And Higonoumi, only 4 wins so far. Notches up his 7th loss. Higonoumi said to be good when it's cold and wet, but for this Basho it's neither. It's hot and sunny, so he's not doing too well. And that was the 5th win for Miyabiyama. Now Chiotaikai, who's running second to Akebono in the race for the Emperor's Cup. He's got 8 wins so far. Here fighting newcomer Tochinohana in his 2nd Basho. Tochinohana got 12 wins in his previous Basho. It's a canny wrestler. Leads with the head there. The head didn't really crack, but Tochinohana dropped his head at the end there. And there's an overarm throw, or pull down. Looked like an overarm throw from Chiotaikai. Gives him his 9 wins. Keeps him in the race. Although there's a clutch of other wrestlers who in theory could come through. But it's better to be close to the leader, of course. But Tochinohana so far has beaten 1 Ozeki and 2 Sekiwaki, so for his 2nd Basho he's not doing too badly as a newcomer to this Makuuchi division. Now Musoyama fights Tosonoumi. Tosonoumi here at 163 kilos, that's about 25 stone. Musoyama about 10 kilos heavier. These two fought 17 times, pretty evenly balanced between the 2 of them in their previous encounters. Tosanoumi's won 9 of them. It's a hard start there. They're both cracking. Bit like the old Musoyama, but loses it there. As Tosanoumi pulls away from that forward pressure. So close in sumo. A winning push can suddenly turn into a losing drop as the other opponent just pulls away slightly and the pressure is released and the other wrestler drops down to the ground. So let's watch this one again. So there Musoyama, you can see he's dropping his head as he comes out, not chickening on the clash. And then the exchange of slaps and throat thrusts to the head. There's a pull down, and that was enough to do it. And Tsunumi just keeps safe on the edge of the ring as Musoyama bites the dust in front of him. So Musoyama there with his 8 losses, and Makikoshi, and if he loses another fight between now and the end of the tournament, he'll go down from Ozeki. It'll be one of the shortest lived Ozekis ever. Now this bout, Dejima, this is the man who won this tournament last year against Oginishiki. They fought 4 times previously. Oginishki's won 3 of them. So Dejima, certainly the stronger of the two, locking in with 2 arms there underneath. It's the Kimidashi position. He's got 2 hands on the arm there. That's a bit of an arm breaker. Dejima gets it with that double overarm hold, exerting all that pressure on Oginishiki's single arm. It's 164 kilos of wrestler leaning on one of your arms. Most arms will just shatter in an instant. So Dejima there with 8 wins and Kachikoshi. This evens him up with his previous Basho result, which was 8 wins and 7 losses. Now Akibono, the first of the grand champions, coming out. He's got 10 wins so far. He's the leader. No losses at all. Here fighting Wakanoyama from the Musashigawa stable with 5 wins and 5 losses. These two have fought twice before. Akibono has won twice. Akibono certainly looking confident these days. Takanohana's out of this tournament, and I'm sure that gives Akibono a considerable amount of confidence. Careful start by Akibono, yeah, vintage Akibono, 2 hands, 2 of those long arms of his. He's nearly 2 meters tall, 6'8" or so, 230 kilos, just over 36 stone. It's a very tall wrestler with long arms, and when those 2 arms come out and into the opponent's upper body, it's very difficult to stop being shoved backwards. So 11 straight wins, Akibono against Wakanoyama. Interestingly enough, both of these wrestlers came into Sumo at the same time. Both came in 88. Wakanoyama's been in and out the Makuuchi division. First came in 92, then he had a long absence from it, then came back in again a couple of Bashos ago. Now the concluding bout, day 11, it's Musashi Maru. He's got 7 wins so far against Hayate Yumi. These two have never fought before. Hayate Yumi in his 3rd Basho. It's almost 100 kilo weight difference here. And that's the size of a big man. So let's see how big Musashi Maru will handle this much lighter wrestler. They're certainly putting in a good fight there, Hayate Yumi, but that sort of arm round the neck, always a sign of desperation. And a comfortable win, 8 wins for Musashi Maru, and the 5th loss for Hayate Yumi. So at the end of day 11, we've got Akibono in the lead with 11 straight wins. Close behind is Chio Taikai with 9 wins and 2 losses, and then a number of wrestlers with 8 wins. Musashi Maru, Dejima, Tochi Azuma and Chio Tenzan, each with 8 wins and 3 losses. But stay with us, we'll be back very shortly with day 12. And into our first bout, which is between Aminishiki and Takatoriki. Takatoriki in his 62nd Basho, Aminishiki in his first Basho. Aminishiki comes from a sumo family, very quickly progressed through the Juryo division. It's been only 3 Bashos to go through that grouping of wrestlers. There, Takatoriki winning his 8th bout. That's 8 wins, certainly much better than before, where he only had 2 wins. And that was the 4th loss for Aminishiki. Now Sento Ryu, powerful looking wrestler here. He obviously pushes the weights. Does a lot of leg work. Got very strong legs. Doesn't do much belt sumo though. Comes out, just pushes hard. It's 141 kilos, just below the average weight. Kotonowaka there, heavier at 170 kilos, some 30 kilos heavier. Ryu came into sumo in 1982. It's taken him a long time to get up in the Makuuchi division. He's 31 years old. He spent the first 6 years of his life in Japan, speaks fluent Japanese with a good Tokyo dialect. But there, Kotonowaka winning on the belt with Yorikiri. Ryu with 6 wins so far and 6 losses. Good result for his first Makuuchi Basho, and still a chance to get Kachikoshi. Now Kyokuten Ho from the Oshima stable. That's the one that tends to take the Mongolian wrestlers. Here fighting Otsukasa. Whoa, very neatly sidestepped there by Kyokuten Ho. And skidding out, and that foot of his went outside. I think for a second he thought he was okay, he was inside, but the speed of his tachiai meant that he would go beyond the edge of the circle. So that's 8 wins and Kachikoshi for Kyokuten Ho. 2 wrestlers here, both from the Nichidai, the top amateur stable. Kaiho and Takami Sakae, they fought each other many times in their amateur days. And Kaiho, the more experienced of the two though, clutches in and then reverses the push into the pull and spins Takami Sakari over. You can see how hot it is there, all the audience using the fans. It's absolutely humid here in Nagoya. That was Kaiho's 6th win. Now Wakanoyama in at 5 wins so far, fighting Kyokushuzan with only 4 wins. So a loss here for Kyokushuzan will make it Koshi. And it looks like it's going to be that, yeah. Wakanoyama manages to get behind into the Okuridashi position and forces Kyokushuzan out for his 8th loss. So Makikoshi for the Mongolian. Still a chance to do better than his 2 previous Bashos, where he scored 5 wins each time and 10 losses. Now Hamanoshima, another Nichidai wrestler. Fights Tochino Nada. These two have fought 7 times. Tochino Nada on the left, there's won 7 of them. Slow start there by Hamanoshima. Hamanoshima hadn't put his hands down, so there's no way that Tochino Nada should have started then. They've got to lower one hand, then the other hand, then pause, and then go. So despite what the Sumo Association say about the tachiai start, the wrestlers just persist in starting the way they've always started. Tochino Nada winning that one, his 4th win, 7th loss for Hamanoshima. And but Tochino Nada with Makikoshi nevertheless. So that's 4 wins for Tochino Nada. Previous Basho he only scored 5 wins, so may do better than that at the end of this tournament. Now Asanowaka. Gotta laugh the way he chucks his little bit of salt up in the air now. Here fighting Kotoryu, they fought 16 times before. Asanowaka's won 10 of them. Kotoryu having that left knee of his apparently injected with painkilling, anodyne, every day before he fights. Not doing too badly. He's got 6 wins so far despite his injured leg. Japanese always seem a bit indifferent to knees. They usually train through an injured knee. And Kotoryu there winning. That's his 7th win so far. Getting very close to Kachikoshi. And that was the 10th loss for Asanowaka. So he now will certainly slide down the ranks. He's Maigashira 3. He'll drop down a fair bit from that in the next Banzuke ranking. Takanowaka fights Toki. They've only met once before. Toki in his 15th Makuuchi Basho against Takanowaka in his 5th. And Takanowaka there goes hurtling out the ring, lands in the lap of the umpire there, Shimpan. And that was Toki's 4th win. He's already got Makikoshi. Not doing as well as he did last time when he had 9 wins and 6 losses. And that's Makikoshi for Takanowaka. Now Tochinohana fighting Akinoshima. Akinoshima doing quite well. If he does, well, if he continues to win from now on, he could possibly go up to Komusubi, but we've got a notch up on all the wins from now on. He's at Maigashira 1, so he needs a good result here, at least Kachikoshi. That's a convincing win there. Tochinohana's feet skidded away, and Akinoshima just slapped him down pretty decisively. So 6 wins there for Akinoshima, and the 7th loss for Tochinohana. It's Kaio coming on for his bout, which will be against Miyabiyama. Now, next bout is Tamakasuga. Ex-collegiate champion against Tosono Umi, both ex-amateurs. There's something like 13 ex-amateur champions in this top division. They come in at the Makushita division. They miss the bottom 3 divisions. A nice head-butting start there from both wrestlers. And slaps, finally they get the belt. They're trying to. Tamakasuga keeping it on the boil there. You see Tosono Umi's body being swayed left and right as he tries to recover his balance from Tamakasuga's twists and thrusts. But eventually takes it with a Yori Taoshi win there, pushed down, and 5th win for Tosono Umi, and 10th loss for Tamakasuga, who will certainly drop down from Komusubi position into the Maigashira rankings. Now, Takanonami. So he got 4 wins so far. The question now is whether he can remain at Sekiwaki rank here, fighting Hayata Yumi. They've never fought before. There's a 40 kilo difference in body weight between the two. Hayata Yumi locks on tight with the belt. But there's that arm throw, that and a Sorogaki there. Well, that was two typical Takanonami techniques there. He locks around one of the arms and does a combined arm lock and throw, and if he can't get that, he hooks his leg round and does Sotogaki. So there we see the Sotogaki winning right at the edge of the circle. His ankles are bad, and he's going to have go into hospital for an operation on his ankle after this Basho. So 6th loss there for Hayata Yumi. Now, Kaio still in a position to get the needed number of wins to go up to Ozeki. Certainly looks comfortable. Miyabiyama not looking so comfortable. He's struggling with 6 losses. He, when his dad said that there was no place in him for his business, when Miyabiyama wanted to go into pro sumo, Miyabiyama replied that he would, well, he'd take his chances and he'd open a noodle shop if necessary, if he failed. So, getting a bit closer to that noodle shop, perhaps. So, full start there from Miyabiyama. And headbutting Atari start from both wrestlers there. So Kaio there, got the front belt and just powers Miyabiyama straight out. Well, that was a convincing win there by Kaio. It's the form that won in the Basho last time. It's the 7th loss for Miyabiyama. He's getting very close to Makikoshi. It's all good. Previous tournament he had 11 wins. 2 previous tournaments he had 11-4 results. And Kaio with 8 wins now. 8 wins, that's his Kachikoshi. Let's watch this one again. So after the full start, both into the tie-up with the arms. Eventually Kaio gets his hand on the belt. Miyabiyama trying to block his hand off there. Kaio gets 2 hands on, and then from that time just powers Miyabiyama straight out. Chio Taikai, Ozeki, 2 Ozekis fighting each other. Dejima at 164 kilos, Chio Taikai at 164 kilos. Both have got 1 tournament win apiece. They fought each other 11 times. Chio Taikai's won 7 of them. So pretty evenly matched. Dejima got 8 wins last Basho, Chio Taikai got 11. Dejima looking powerful there, drives Chio Taikai straight out. Both wrestlers with similar styles, they both come out straight. and just push the other straight backwards. Dejima there taking the advantage. That's 9 wins for Dejima, doing better than his last Basho, and 3rd loss for Chio Taikai, which drops him down from the 2nd position that he was in, just behind Akibono. So Akibono now clearly in the lead with 2 wins ahead of the others, who've got 3 losses. So 3 losses apiece now there for Chio Taikai and Dejima. 9-3 apiece. And on to the next bout. Tochiazuma, who's one of the group of wrestlers in 2nd position now. He's got 8 wins. Win here will put him up 9-3 level with Chio Taikai and Dejima. Here fighting Musoyama. He's fought him 11 times previously, has won 8 times. And Musoyama with 8 losses. There's another loss. Well, we know his back's bad, but he wasn't fighting that one. So that's 9 losses for Musoyama. He'll be only in that Ozeki rank for 2 Basho. He'll drop down from that now. Sat out the last tournament due to injury. Shame really, but there you go. It's injuries that change one's luck always in sport. Now the first of the Yokozuna, the 2 remaining Yokozuna. Sashimaru, whose condition seems to be getting better as he progresses through. He's had 3 losses so far, but looking better. And Higonumi, these 2 have fought 10 times previously. Sashimaru's won 8 of them. Slowish start there by Sashimaru, but overwhelming power. 230 kilos of power, 36 stone there, just overwhelming. Some 80 kilos heavier than his opponent Higonumi, and a straight Oshidashi win by Masashi. So that's 9 wins for Masashi. He's still in the race for the cup, along with about 4 other wrestlers. And that was the 8th loss and Makikoshi for Higonumi. Akibono getting ready for his bout against Oginishiki. Now these 2 have fought 8 times previously. Akibono's won 7 of them. Akibono in his 62nd Basho, Oginishiki in his 41st, both experienced wrestlers, both been around a long time. Akibono, of course, with 9 tournament wins, 31 years old, Oginishiki 29. Enormous weight difference between them, some 90 kilos of difference of body weight. Oginishiki is a skillful wrestler. 3 Bashos ago, he was in the Juryo, he dropped down, came back in, got 8-7 on his first Basho back, and then 6-9 last Basho. Odds have got to be on Akibono to maintain his load. He's at lead rather. He's had 11 straight wins, and pushing hard against Oginishiki, who's struggling there with ducking and diving, trying to avoid the push. And a look of satisfaction perhaps on Akibono's face there. But that's his 12th straight win. And a little bit of prize money. Kensho Kin. Over the year, the Kensho money mounts up. And there's the position at the end of day 12. Akibono's in the straight lead with 12 straight wins. And then a group of wrestlers with 9 wins and 3 losses. Musashimaru, Tochiazuma, Takami Sakari, Chio Taikai and Dejima, all with 9 wins and 3 losses. Still in the match though, in the race for the cup. There's Akibono coming out from the tournament venue. Well, thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with the last 3 deciding days of the Basho. This is Sid Hoare from Nagoya. Take care and sayonara. Hello, irashaimase, and welcome to the last 3 days of the Nagoya Grand Sumo Tournament from Japan. My name is Sid Hoare. At this stage of the Basho, Akibono is in a clear lead of 3 wins, which means he only has to win one of his remaining bouts, one of his remaining 3 bouts, to win the Emperor's Cup. Here he is coming in. Should he lose all 3 and the pack of 6-man pack behind him, which is 3 losses behind, should they win all, or one of them win all of their 3 matches, then there'll be a playoff at the end. But the money is on Akibono to win. It's been a while since the 2 established Yokozuna, that's Akibono or Takanohana, have won It's the first time this year for any Yokozuna to win. Musashi Maru won 2 Basho last year as Ozeki, then another 2 after his promotion to Yokozuna. Other than that, we have to go back to September 98 when Takanohana won. In the meantime, a mixed bag of rikishi, including Kotonishiki and Takatoriki, have won the cup. Well, let's get to the action. And at the beginning of day 13, we're picking it up with Daizen against Kotoryu. Both of these wrestlers come from sumo families. Kotoryu's father and grandfather were in pro sumo, and Daizen's father was a Sandame rikishi. That's pretty low rank, but nevertheless a pro sumo wrestler. So, a couple of full starts there from these two. And the referee stops them twice and restarts them. Both lock in on the Yotsu sumo position. That's the 4 hands on. Classical sumo position. This is what the sumo elders like their wrestlers to do. Belt to belt. And there Kotoryu takes his 8th win. That's Kachikoshi for him. 8 wins. That guarantees his placings in the rankings. And that was the 10th loss for Daizen. Not too good a tournament so far for Daizen. Now Kaiho, small but fast wrestler, ex-amateur champion, fighting Sentoryu, Henry Armstrong Miller. They crash heads at the Tachiai. And Henry Armstrong Miller there, I should say Sentoryu, goes into a violent start from the headbang to a lot of hard slaps and pull downs. And that gives him his 7th win so far. He does very little belt sumo, as opposed to Kaiho, who is good on both belt and on open slapping sumo. Now, Kinkayama has had 7 losses so far. If he loses this one, that'll be Makikoshi. Here fighting Higonori, who's already got Makikoshi. If Kinkayama loses this one, he'll almost certainly go down to the Judo division, and that's it. He won that one, so that still keeps him in the game. He still maintains his 7 losses, 6 wins now, but a couple more matches to go, so it's touch and go for this wrestler. And Higonori notching up his 9th loss. Now Hamanoshima. If he loses this one, he'll get Makikoshi at Maegashira 10. He's getting a bit near the bottom of the Maegashira rankings. Fighting Wakanoyama, who's got 6 wins so far. Still a chance for him to get Kachikoshi. Wakanoyama there holding one of Hamanoshima's arms with both his hands. Slightly unusual technique. We've seen some of the Mongolian wrestlers try that tactic. Unusual for the Japanese to try that, but only a brief tactic there in this now longish bout. And eventually Wakanoyama forces Hamanoshima over the edge. So that's Makikoshi for Hamanoshima, and another drop lower down towards the bottom of the Maegashira rankings. Now Oginishiki fights Minato Fuji. Oginishiki, another one, comes from a sumo family, both his father and brother were in sumo. Both are now retired. There Minato Fuji, Mr. Marshmallow, as Konishiki, the great huge Konishiki, once called him, winning there with a nice pull down on the front of the belt. So that was 6th win from Minato Fuji, and 8th loss on Makikoshi Oginishiki. Now Shikishima fights Asanowaka. Well, you think this was one of the top bouts, judging by the noise of the crowd, but it's Asanowaka, the great favourite, the local lad who pleases everybody with his antics before the start. Here he is fighting the much larger Shikishima, and he beats him. Well, that was nicely done. Asanowaka was jumping around there. He didn't let Shikishima settle down at all. There's almost 50 kilogram difference between the two in body weight. That's some 8 stone difference for those of you in the UK. And that was Asanowaka's 3rd win. Well, he's had a pretty poor tournament so far, but the crowd love him. Now Kyokushuzan fights Takanowaka. Kyokushuzan with 4 wins so far. He's already got Makikoshi. So has Takanowaka. He's got 8 losses. Kyokushuzan, in the early days in the Makuuchi division, used an enormous range of techniques. He won with over 30 different techniques. In the last year or so, he's settled down. Here we see him just doing straightforward classical belt sumo. There's an attempt at the underarm throw there from Kyokushuzan. Takanawaka pushing in hard, got him to the edge, and then nudged him over sideways, as is the way, levering against Kyokushuzan's arm, which was underneath, so that was a mix there of a watenagi, the overarm throw, and a yorikiri. Good tournament so far. But Takanawaka, not so much in results, but he's beaten some good people, Chio Taikai and Miyabayama, for example. Now, Kyokuten Ho fights Tochino Hana. These two have never fought before. Kyokuten Ho in his 13th tournament, Tochino Hana in his 2nd tournament. Well, that was read well there by the Mongolian. Kyokuten Ho, feet skidded away, and that was enough for Kyokuten Ho to slap down Tochino Hana with Hataki Komi. 8th loss there for Tochino Hana and Makikoshi. Toki, another distinctive wrestler, bright orange mawashi that he wears, and he's fighting Tamakasuga. These two have only fought once before, and Toki won that one. So Toki more or less attacks always to the face and upper body, and there's a pull down. That was a good pull down there. He moved backwards as he pulled down, but he was just within the ring, comfortable enough. And Tamakasuga dropped down to the sand of the dohyo. 11th loss for Tamakasuga, and he'll certainly drop down from his position in the Sanyaku grouping of wrestlers. That's the Komusubi, Sekiwaki, and Ozeki group of wrestlers. He'll drop down from that. He's Komusubi. He'll go down to the Maegashira ranks. Now, Takanonami, he's got 7 losses. If he loses this one, that will give him 8 losses. Makikoshi, and that means he'll drop down the rankings. Well, there it is. Takanonami gets his Makikoshi, and that will drop him down from Sekiwaki. At Ozeki rank, which he's been twice before, they're allowed 2 bad tournaments, but as Sekiwaki, they're only allowed 1 bad one, so that's down for Takanonami next time round, and that was the 6th win for Tosanu Umi. Now, Takami Sakari, newcomer in his first Makuuchi Basho, ex-Nichidai amateur stable graduate, against Tochiazuma. Tochiazuma, far and away the more skillful of the two, great technician. But Takami Sakari fighting hard there, and it looks like he's got Tochiazuma. There's a spin over. Well, that was close, very close. Looked to me like as Tochiazuma tried that twisting throw on Takami Sakari, yes, there's a monoi, that's an objection from one of the judges. Let's watch this in slow motion. So Takami Sakari fights back, and there's the turning uchari type move at the edge, but, well, it was touch and go. Takami Sakari's head touched down as Tochiazuma's feet touched down. So dotai, that means the two bodies fell together. So it's a rematch. Well, let's see how they play this one. Harder start from Tochiazuma, a bit more effort into it perhaps that time, and there was a nice twist down. Now that was unusual. Held him round the back of the neck and just spun him down and round with a little help from his overarm, his Owate, and that finished off Takami Sakari. So a good match there for the newcomer. That was his 4th loss so far. It would have been his 10th win otherwise, and that was the 10th win for Tochiazuma. So he's having a good result, is Tochiazuma, doing better than his last 2 Bashos. Now Kaio. Kaio needs 11 wins to go up to Ozeki. He's got 8 wins so far. Needs to win virtually, literally every match from now on. Well, there's a slow start from the 2 wrestlers. Look as though they haven't made up their mind. Well, that's a win for Kaio. That's 9 wins. He's only got 2 more to go up to Ozeki rank. And that was the 7th loss. Akinoshima, still 1 short of Makikoshi. Well, that was a slow start from the 2 wrestlers. It's almost as if they anticipated the referee would say, "Mata, stop." They slowly lumbered towards each other, but Kaoe it was who quickly took the advantage and flipped Akinoshima over with Squeena. There's the big Yokozuna. Akebono coming out for his match against Miyabiyama. Immediate match, however, is Musoyama against Tochino Nada. These two have fought 6 times before. Musoyama has won 4 of them. Musoyama's got 9 losses so far. Doing pretty badly. He's going to be the shortest-lived Ozeki ever at this rate. And there's another loss for him. Well, he's got a bad back, we know that. He sat out the last tournament because of it, and he was forced to come back into this one. He had to try to maintain his position as Ozeki, but when he drops out as Ozeki, or when he drops down as Ozeki, it will be the shortest in something like 60 years for that to happen. Unfortunate, but no doubt he'll recover from his back injury. Now Dejima, he's got 9 wins so far against Hayate Yumi. These two have never fought. Hayate Yumi in his 3rd Makuuchi Basho. Dejima crosses the line first, comes forward, maybe a little too fast. Hayate Yumi looked confident there, as if he was waiting for Dejima to charge out, and he spun him over and down with the overarm throw, the Owate Dashinagi. And looking very confident there as this new one. He's a lightweight wrestler, some 30 or 40 kilos lighter than Dejima. Now, Akebono, if he wins this one, he wins the tournament on day 13. He's fighting Miyabiyama. They've only fought 5 times before. Akebono won 3 of them. But Miyabiyama is having a very bad tournament. He's some 50 kilos lighter than Akebono. That's 8 stone or so weight difference between the two. Akebono now certainly looking more confident. His main rival Takanohana dropped out on day 8. And Akebono now, it's been a long time since he won a tournament. It was some 18 Bashos ago. If he can win this one, this will be his 10th tournament victory. So a slowish start. He's coming forward. He almost got sidestepped there. He's on the edge. Miyabiyama almost got that sidestep working. That's Akebono's big weakness, and now the big man's powering forward, and that's it. Akebono wins his 10th tournament, his 10th Yusho, and they're looking good about that. It was 18 Bashos ago. It was in July 97 that he last won a tournament. You can see him there thinking on that fact. He said that over that 3-year period, he thought of retiring many, many times, but he carried on. He sat out a number of tournaments when he was injured rather than just enduring it through. And he's come back. He's 31 years old, still got plenty of life left in him as a Yokozuna. But that was his 10th tournament win. So good result there for Akebono. And you can see the emotions of that victory coming through on his face there. So let's watch that one again. Slightly dodgy start. Miyabiyama came across the line very fast. And there, Akebono powers forward and almost loses at that point. That's how we've seen him lose a number of times in the past, when his huge bulk goes forward and there's nothing in the way of him. But then he recovers quickly, and then just watch how he starts powering forward there. Just leans into the much smaller wrestler. Desperation there on Miyabiyama's face as he just gets smashed out of the ring with Oshidashi. Some reflection there, no doubt. Akebono thinking of the last 3 years. It's been a long haul for this, for the Yokozuna. Now, concluding match of the day, it's between Musashi Maru and Chio Taikai. These two have fought 11 times. Chio Taikai's won 6. Musashi Maru a bit injured. He's got a bad right knee. He's got a bad wrist. He had a good year last year. He won 4 tournaments last year. Nothing much this year. Looking a bit taking it easy there, Musashi Maru. Well, it didn't look like he was fighting much at all. Chio Taikai just going for it, slapping and pushing. And Musashi Maru rolling around a bit. He's got 9 wins. That'll be well, certainly he'll stay in his rank. Yokozunas don't lose their rank. But Chio Taikai there notching up his 10th win. So not too bad for the Ozeki. So at the end of day 13, Akebono's in the lead. I should say he's won the tournament. He's had 14 straight wins. Chio Taikai and Tochiazuma, 10 wins and 3 losses just behind. To day 14 of the Nagoya Basho. Well, here's the man who's already won the tournament. But there's a few things to be decided before we reach the last day. We're wondering if Kaio will get enough wins to confirm his promotion to Ozeki. Akebono himself is aiming for Zensho, which means 15 straight wins. He's never done that before. The best he's done previously, apart from this Basho, was 13 wins and 2 losses. He's had 14-0 so far this time. And of course, we're looking to see who will win the various tournament prizes. Now let's go to our first bout, which is between Daizen, who's fighting Kotonishiki, who's top of the Juryo rankings. He's been brought in. That often happens in some of these bouts when the Makuuchi wrestlers drop out to injury or whatever. But Kotonishiki there, a man who won 2 tournaments in the past and not such distant past either, being thrust down there, dropped down by Daizen. That gives 4 wins for Daizen and 7 losses for Kotonishiki. However, he's in a different division. Now Kyokushuzan fights Kinkayama. Kinkayama with 6 wins so far, Kyokushuzan with only 4. And Kyokushuzan being wrapped round the waist and lifted up by Kinkayama. And just bundled out slightly rare technique there, tsuridashi. We don't often see that. That's the lifting up and forcing out. There is an obscure rule which says that a wrestler who lifts his opponent up can walk out of the ring and touch down outside of the ring without dropping his opponent first. But not many wrestlers chance that. They can't do it backwards, but they can do it forwards. Now, Kotonowaka against Chio Tenzan. These two have fought 4 times previously. Kotonowaka's won 3 of them. Kotonowaka trying the overarm throw, but a bit lackluster attempt there. Kotonowaka's had 8 wins already. He's got his Kachikoshi. That's taken the pressure off him. Chio Tenzan racking up his 10th win. A very good tournament for this Kokonoe stable wrestler so far. Last 2 tournaments he only won 6 times each Basho. And now a newcomer, Aminishiki. He's got 9 wins and fighting Kaiho here with 6 wins. They've never fought before. Certainly not in pro sumo ranks. They're both amateur champions. And there's a nice technique from Kaiho. He locked his knee behind. That was Kirikaishi and spun him over, but it was touch and go. Who touched down first? Well, it's a mono-e, an objection, and then a kogi. That's a discussion. Well, that was very close. Well, Chiyonofuji there says that the referee's decision, which was first to give Kaiho the match, was correct, and so Kaiho gets that decision. So 7 wins and 7 losses so far for Kaiho, and the 5th loss for Aminishiki. Now, Kotoryu and Takami Sakari. Takami Sakari usually goes for the belt. Kotoryu, good at either pushing sumo or belt sumo. He's done very well so far. Almost got spun over there by Takami Sakari. And there, he gets shrugged off from the belt hold and just dropped down. It's Skiyotoshi. Well, he's certainly doing well, this newcomer, in his first tournament. That was his 10th win. He's upset a number of these top wrestlers so far. Of course, he's got a lot of experience. He came into sumo through the amateur ranks. Came in 99, very quickly progressed up from the Makushita division, which is where these top amateurs start. So they place in the National Amateur Sumo Championships in the first 4. That enables them to start in the Makushita division, which is the one just below Juryo, which is the one just below this division, the Makuuchi division. So there you see him shrugging off Kotoryu's grip at the end there and dropping him down face forward to the ground. So 10 wins there for Takami Sakari. Tochino Nada against Minato Fuji. They've gone through their 4 minutes of ritual posturing. The tension builds up, the crowd goes silent, and this is the moment when they crash forward. And Minato Fuji meets Tochino Nada closer to Tochino Nada's line than his own. In other words, he crossed that gap more swiftly. These two have fought 6 times previously. Tochino Nada's won 5 of them. But these records, of course, go back some time. And it all depends on who won most recently. Well, that was a lovely throw there. Maki Otoshi, a rare one. We don't often see that. That spun Minato Fuji over and round very crisply. 6th win there for Tochino Nada, 8th loss for Minato Fuji and Maki Koshi. Asano Waka. Well, we know that he charges forward, slams into the opponent, and then he sidesteps. That's his tactic. Higanumi on the well, there it is, as predicted. Although I suppose, of course, there's a certain amount of doubt from the opposing wrestler as to which way he'll sidestep. He can sidestep to the left or the right, but there he sidesteps to the left. And Higanumi went sailing past, and then he got pushed out following that sidestep. So Higanumi with 10 losses. Currently, he's almost got the lowest win-loss rate in the top division, 0.452. Which is to say he wins about 45 or 4.5 wins out of 10, which is not so good, but somehow he manages to stay in the Makuuchi division. Now Toki against Oginishiki. These two have fought twice. Oginishiki's won twice. Toki driving him to the edge, gets shrugged off, and Oginishiki recovers from that perilous position on the edge of the ring and moves in to shove Toki out with Oshidashi. 6th win for Oginishiki. He's got Maki Koshi already, but if he wins on the last day, he'll do better than his previous tournament where he only had 6 wins and 9 losses. Wakanoyama, man who's been in and out of the Makuuchi division. Started Sumo in '88, that's along with lots of the all-time greats like Takanohana. Hasn't done as well though. Had a 28 Basho absence from the Makuuchi division. Suffered from diabetes for a bit. Some of these wrestlers do have this problem, possibly to do with their eating habits. Akinoshima, there, spinning him over. Well, that was a nice one. Low grip on the belt, spun Wakanoyama over. That was 7 losses for Wakanoyama. He's 1 short of a Maki Koshi or a Kachi Koshi on the penultimate day. To have a 7-7 record means it's touch and go right to the last day as to whether he's up or down the rankings. Akinoshima there in the same position, 7-7. Tosonoumi fights Tochinohana. Tosonoumi with 6 wins, Tochinohana with 5. That's a good driving start from Tosonoumi, head into Tochinohana's chest, and then 2 hands on the body as well. 3-point touch. Meant to be the ideal type of pushing position. Not only the hands pushing, but the head as well, locked in, and the feet driving behind. And also it stops the neck from being injured. Now Takanowaka against Tamakasuga. These two have fought twice previously. Tamakasuga's won 2 of them. Well, that was a fast start there from Takanowaka. This is only his 5th Makuuchi tournament. Previous one, he Kachikoshi 8-7. Hasn't done quite so well this time. And now it's open sumo. Takanowaka looking for the belt, but the arm work of Tamakasuga denies him it. But then a spin and drop there, and a hook round the back with the leg drops Tamakasuga down. And that was the 6th win for Takanowaka. 12th loss for Tamakasuga. Bad tournament compared with last time. Last time he had 9 wins and 6 losses. Now, a good match coming up. Takato Riki against Tochi Azuma. Takato Riki, the man who won a tournament 2 Bashos ago. Tochi Azuma, very competent wrestler. Gradually going stronger and stronger in a unnoticed sort of way, but they're winning comfortably. against Takatoriki, sidestepped him and pushed him out from behind and down. Kuritaoshi. Tochi Azuma winning that one, 11 wins. That puts him into, or keeps him in second place there. And certainly much better than his previous 3 tournaments. Last tournament he had 9 wins, the one before that 8, and the one before that 8. So 11 wins now for Tochi Azuma. Certainly getting better and better as the Bashos go by. Hayate Yumi, Windy Sea is what his name means, fights Musoyama. He's still never fought before. Hayate Yumi in his 3rd Makuuchi Basho, which is the reason for that. Hanging on there with the belt. Bends Musoyama backwards. Musoyama swings him from side to side and then finally over with Tsukiyotoshi. That was the 4th win for Musoyama. Well, he's got Makikoshi and he's certainly down, will drop down from Ozeki. But he's fighting his game. Could have dropped out this one as he did in the previous Basho. But he chose to come in and fight despite his injury. Now, Kyokuten Ho, the Mongolian from the Oshima stable, fights Dejima. They've only fought once before. Dejima won that one. Dejima comes straight out and almost loses it there. Had his head pushed down and his arm lifted up, but he just about recovered from it. Kyokuten Ho nearly had him. But at the start of this particular bout, the wrestlers were even. They had 9-4 each. But Dejima moves ahead on that one. There's 10 wins for him and 5 losses for Kyokuten Ho. Now Takanonami, he's got Makikoshi already. He'll be down from this Sekiwake rank. Miyabiyama in his debut as an Ozeki has done pretty badly, but he's allowed 1 more bad tournament. Or rather, if he goes a bad tournament next time, he'll be down from Ozeki. Only 2 Makikoshi allowed for the Ozeki. So a Kirikaishi attempt there by Miyabiyama. And that was a powerful throw there from Takanonami. He lifted up the 177 kilo body of Miyabiyama and just dumped him down. Well, there was a display of power from the man who's in the distant past won 2 tournaments. Never been a spectacular winner, Takanonami. Hasn't won many tournament prizes, but he has won 2 tournaments, and not many Rikishi do that. Now Kaio, 9 wins he's got. Needs 2 more wins for that promotion to Ozeki. He's been trying 6 times already. This is his 7th attempt for promotion to Ozeki. Here fighting Musashi Maru. These 2 have fought 36 times, and Musashi Maru's won 22 of them. Well, the last Basho, the last bout rather, for Musashi Maru was a pretty feeble affair. He didn't seem to be trying very hard against Chiyo Taikai. No doubt his stable boss will have read in the riot act. Here locking in tight against Kaio. Kaio needs this one. He's got the overarm position there. Will he try the overarm throw? He's a much lighter wrestler than Musashi Maru. And maybe this is not too advantageous for him to lock in on this double belt hold. He's trying to get the belt, can't quite reach it. Musashi Maru denying him that position. Now, if he opens it up a bit, that must surely be to Kaio's advantage. Musashi Maru much too heavy to power out belt to belt. So there Kaio holding Musashi Maru's hand, trying to stop him on the belt. Now, possibility of a side step here, or a turn to one side and flip the big man forward. So this is taking longer than it normally does for these sumo bouts. This massive weight leaning into each other is a test of stamina. There's a leg hook. Well, that was very neatly done. A little kick on the inside of Musashi Maru's leg was just enough to disturb his balance, kick his leg sideways, and then a bit of leverage on the far arm and the overarm spun Musashi Maru down to the ground. So 10 wins for Kaio, just 1 win away, which hopefully he'll get on his last day. And that will confirm him as Ozeki. So let's watch that one again. That was an interesting bout. Both wrestlers go fairly quickly into the closed sumo, the belt sumo, after a brief flurry at the beginning. And an enormous weight difference here. Some 60 kilos weight difference between the 2 of them. That's 9.5 stone weight difference. Now there's that hook just on the inside of the leg, and you can see that's just enough to disturb the balance of Musashi Maru. and down he goes to the ground. 5th loss for Masashi Maru, and 10th win for Kaio. Now, Akebono has already won the title, which he did on day 13, fights Chio Taikai. They fought 8 times. Akebono's won 5. Akebono looking for a Zensho, that's 15 straight wins, and that affects his pay and his pension. If he can do that, makes a big difference in his money. So there's an incentive here for him to win, and here thrusting at Chio Taikai. Shouldn't keep it too open. He can lose when there's too much space between the 2 wrestlers, and Chio Taikai takes it. 11 wins for Chio Taikai. Kept the sumo open and fluid, and then after an exchange of pushes and thrusts, got his hand down behind Akebono's head and pulled him down to the ground. So a spark there from Chio Taikai. That's 11 wins for him, and an interesting bout between these Ozeki and the Yokozuna. So there Chio Taikai driving him with the head into the chest of Akebono. That precise moment not making too much dent, but then going for the throat, pushing hard, starts to open it out, pulls away, creates a bit of space. Akebono trying to close in, but you can see him leaning there, leaning into it a little bit too much. Chio Taikai digging his head in again, and then trying to pull away and drive the big man forward. Akebono closes in again. There's that pull down on the head, and down goes Akebono. So at the end of day 14, Akebono's won it. He takes his first loss, and Chio Taikai and Tochiozuma are 11 wins and 3 losses in 2nd place. But don't go away, stay with us, we'll be back for the last day. Back to the last day of the Basho, the Senshuraku, as it's called. Akebono has already won the tournament. He lost yesterday, so the Zensho, the 15 straight wins, has eluded him. But Kaio here coming up needs to win on this 15th day for promotion to Ozeki. And there's a certain amount of interest as to whether Chio Taikai or Tochiozuma, who are neck and neck with 11 wins and 3 losses apiece, will place in the runner-up position. So at the start of day 15, it's a full house here in the Aichi Prefectural Gymnasium in Nagoya, and we go to our first bout, which is between Otsukasa and Kotoryu. Otsukasa has got 8 wins so far. That's Kachikoshi at Maegashira 12, and with Kachikoshi already, he'll stay in the Makauchi rankings. Kotoryu's got 8 wins already as well, so he's done much better than his last 2 Bashos. Last one he had 7 wins, one before that 5, so if he wins this one, or whether he loses it, it's certainly better than his 2 previous Bashos. So there's the overarm position, reinforced with the push out. It's a combination there of the overarm, the Owate, and the belly thrust, the Yorikiri, forces Otsukasa out. So that's the final result for Otsukasa is 8 wins and 7 losses, and 9 wins and 6 losses for Kotoryu. So game performance by Kotoryu, who injured his knee on day 1 against Kaio. Now Kaiho against Kyokushuzan. These 2 have fought 7 times previously. Kyokushuzan has won 4 of them. They're both tricky wrestlers, and Kyokushuzan is the more unorthodox of the 2, which there tries an outside leg hook. Kaiho keeps it open. They've both got only one hand on the belt, and there's another attempt at a Sotogake there. The leg hooks round, it's Sotogake. Kaiho trying the, and there's a nice spin over there by Kyokushuzan. Well, that was very neat. There's not a lot of weight difference between these 2, about 10 kilos or so, so it was a battle of technique there. And Kyokushuzan there, scoring a final score of 5 wins and 10 losses, exactly the same as his 2 previous Basho. So Maegashira 8, he's safe enough for the time being. Now Daizen against Higonumi, 10 losses apiece for both of these wrestlers. Not a good tournament. Daizen there winning that with a straightforward Yorikiri. Gives him 5 wins, 11 losses for Higonumi. But Daizen at Maegashira 10 will drop perilously close to the bottom of the Maegashira rankings, whereas Higonumi at Maegashira 5 will be safe enough for a Basho or two. Now Shikishima with 11 losses, bad tournament for him against Tochi Nonada at Maegashira 3. Shikishima with only 3 wins so far, not a good result at all. And there loses that with those stomach thrusts from Tochi Nonada. So that was 7 wins for Tochi Nonada. Shikishima with 12 losses, his worst tournament so far. And Maegashira 12, maybe he'll stay in the Makuuchi division, maybe not, maybe down the Juryo. It's all up to the Banzuke committee to decide. Now, Tokitsumi has got a good right-sided attack against Takanowaka. Got a bit of sporting history behind him, played baseball and basketball at school. Many of these wrestlers, of course, did judo, which is, for a while, was compulsory in Japanese schools. And there, a win by Tokitsumi. Had his head trapped under Takanowaka's arm, but eventually just about managed to extract it as he forced Takanowaka over the side with Yorikiri. So 9 wins, Tokitsumi, good result. And 9 losses for Takanowaka. Toki against Sentoryu. Sentoryu, along with Aminishiki and Takami Sakari, one of a group of 3 who've newly arrived in the Makuuchi division, all doing well. Sentoryu losing there, but that was his 7th loss. His overall score was 8 wins and 7 losses. So that's a good result for his first time in the Makuuchi division. Toki gaining his 6th win. So poorish performance from Toki, but safe enough as he is near the top of the Maegashira ranks. Kaio getting ready for his match. This is the one that will decide, not this one, but Kaio's match will decide whether he gets promoted or not. Now, Aminishiki, one of the newcomers, against Tochinohana. They've never fought before, certainly not in the pro ranks. 9 wins for Aminishiki. If he wins this one, he should get a prize. Probably the Fighting Spirit prize, that's the Kanto Show. That affects his salary. Adds an increment to it. Well, looked like Tochinohana there was trying an inside leg hook, but simply got dumped down by Aminishiki. So 10 wins for Aminishiki. A certain prize, probably the Kanto Show. And 10 losses for Tochinohana. Much a reversal of his result before, previous Basho when he had 12 wins and 3 losses. But he'll slide down the Maegashira rankings, but a lot of promise with that new young wrestler. And he'll be around for a bit, I predict. Now, Akinoshima against Kyoku Tenho. They've only fought twice before, each has won once. Kyoku Tenho, Mongolian, although he doesn't show in sumo, he does pretty straightforward sumo. And that looks like Kyoku Tenho stepped out. Let's look at that heel. Yes, the heel goes over, you can see that. There's a band of brush sand around the outside of the ring, and it's very easy to see if a heel touches into it, the sand gets disturbed. Kyoku Tenho's heel went over, and Akinoshima wins that bout. That's Kachikoshi. Akinoshima, and at Maegashira 1, he'll probably go to Komusubi rank, so back into the Sanyaku grouping of top wrestlers. Asanowaka against Tama Kasuga. Asanowaka moving fast, and there spins Tama Kasuga over with that pull drop. Hitoshi from those violent exchanges. Asanowaka's 5th win. Same result now as last Basho when he had 5 wins and 10 losses. 13th loss for Tama Kasuga, and he will almost certainly drop down from his Komusubi position. Now, Tosanumi against Hayate-Yumi. Hayate-Yumi's got 7 wins. He needs this one for Kachikoshi. In fact, both wrestlers are in the same position, 7-7. Well, that was spectacular. Both wrestlers go flying out. Looked to me like Hayate-Yumi had it. And yes, can see they stand there, and then when the referee turns to face them, they know they've got the decision, and unless a judge stands up to object, it's a win. So Hayato Yumi wins, 8 wins and 7 losses. Hachikoshi, and for Tosono Umi, 7 wins and 8 losses, and Makikoshi. And down to the Maegashira ranks. Now Takanonami, got 8 losses so far against Chio Tenzan. Chio Tenzan's got 10 wins. 11 wins here. Well, another display of power by the ex-Ozeki wrestler. Previous bout yesterday showed an enormous amount of power when he won. Another example of it there, lifting Chio Tenzan 144 kilos over the edge of the ring with a huge surge of power. Now Kaio, 10 wins, he needs this one, 11 wins over 3 Basho. For promotion Ozeki, he needs 33 wins. And this is the one, if he wins it, we'll give him 33, fighting Wakanoyama. They've only fought once before. Kaio won that one. Kaio with 10 wins, Wakanoyama with 7. If Wakanoyama wins this one, he'll have... Oh, almost sidesteps Kaio. Kaio there, that's it. Kaio does it. That's his 11 wins. And after his Yusho, his winning Basho performance last Basho, is now guaranteed promotion up to Ozeki. So Kaio from the Tomozuna stable goes up to Ozeki, his 7th, lucky at his 7th attempt, or not so much lucky, he deserved it all the way. He's certainly improved in the last few months, and certainly looks more and more confident and more powerful. So Wakanoyama with Makikoshi and 8 losses. Let's watch that one again. So opening, he almost loses it there. Wakanoyama gets out the way, but Kaio recovers very quickly, gets his left fist to Wakanoyama's throat, and that fist, that long left arm, shoves him out and over the edge with Oshidashi. Very confident looking Kaio, and no doubt a very happy Kaio. Well, the wrestlers don't show too much emotion in the ring. They certainly do when they go down and out of the public gaze in the changing rooms. They shout and jump around, but we don't see that now. Oginishiki against Musoyama. Musoyama, one of the shortest lived Ozeki ever. Up to Ozeki and down from Ozeki in 2 Bashos. So another loss, 11 losses for Musoyama. And 7th win for Oginishiki. A little bit better than his previous Basho. He had 6 wins before. Now this is Shikimori, who's been refereeing. This is his last bout. In sumo, he's been refereeing for 60 years, nearly 60 years. And this is his very last bout. So he's a Tate Gyoji, that means he's the senior Gyoji. Here refereeing between Tochiazuma and Dejima. These two have fought 14 times. Tochiazuma was won 8 of them. Dejima blocked in his initial surge. He needs to keep his feet going. That's the Dayashi. Tries an underarm throw. Tochiazuma weathers that one. Gets his leg behind. Tochiazuma hooks his left leg behind Dejima. That's the Kirikaishi position. If his foot's on the ground, if it's off the ground, it's Sotogake. Mixture of the two. Shikimori makes his last winner's promotion and then presents the arrow to the first of the Sanyaku wrestlers winning on the last day. So Tochiazuma, 12 wins and a prize. He'll get the Gino Show, the technique prize for that performance. Certainly improving from Basho to Basho. Now Chio Taikai against Miyabayama. Miyabayama, poor result this time. Can he win this one? And there was a push into a pull down. Chio Taikai with 11 wins. That's an Ozeki performance, more or less. And they're notching up his fourth loss, and 6th win there for Miyabayama. So, well, the referee's just staying on a little bit longer. It's not exactly his last bout. He'll go on to the end. 53 years, according to my records, he's been a referee. Came in sumo as a referee, 11 years old. They start that young and they referee in the very low ranks. And now on to the concluding bout of the Senshiraku, the last day. Akibono against Masashi Maru. They fought 35 times. Akibono's won 20 of them. Akibono's won the title. Masashi Maru's had 9 wins, so-so for the Yokozuna. Another win would make it look a bit more like a Yokozuna type performance, but he has been injured. And Masashi Maru leaning in, low down for the big man. And there he tries for the lower belt hold and then starts to surge up. That's a win there for Masashi Maru. He beats Akebono. So Akebono losing his last 2 bouts, but I guess he wasn't too fast. He knew he'd got the title. He got the Emperor's Cup. And 10 wins there from Masashi Maru against 5 losses. So the 2 remaining Yokozuna, the 2 non-Japanese, there's the results at the end. Akebono wins with 13-2. Tochiazuma places second with 12-3. Chio Taikai and Kayo with 11-4. Kayo goes up to Ozeki. Musoyama goes down from Ozeki. Takanonami goes down from Sekiwaki. Takanohana dropped out of the tournament. And prizes went to Takami Sakari. That was the Kanto show. And also Ami Nishiki. The Outstanding Performer prize went to Kayo. And the Technique prize went to Tochiazuma. So it's been a very eventful Basho. It's been a long time since Akebono won the title, over 3 years ago, 18 Bashos ago, and here's Tokitsukaze presenting the huge 35 kilo cup to Akebono. The Shihai, as the cup's called, is presented to Akebono, and there he is with his wife Kalina and his daughter. He's got a daughter and a son, and his supporters group chanting the traditional banzai 3 times, and an emotional Akebono there taking the cup. So there it is, an eventful tournament. Akebono gets the Yusho, that's the win. Slight correction to the top there. Kayo gets his promotion, and Tochiazuma places second. An interesting tournament. Good clutch of newcomers. There's Takami Sakari. Well, thank you for joining us.